Yes, well, George's sister moved here in 1960 from England, and she used to write and say, this is the place to bring up children.
Yeah.
So then when we had Jim, we thought we'd like to emigrate, so we booked John's passage, but he refused to come. He was 17 at the time. So George said, oh, no good forcing him to go, he'll never like it, you know.
Yeah, that's
So
quite
we
nice.
came and left them behind. I think the worst thing was I had to say goodbye to my parents, and I knew I wasn't going to see them again, so that was hard.
Yeah, that must have been hard.
And coming here to a new country, you had to make a new life, and didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
And George's sister, Olga, her name was, she was working. They had a butcher's business. So I knew nobody. And Penny was 12 and Jim was 1. And I used to take him to Plunkett. And the Plunkett nurse said, oh, you must join my Plunkett mums.
You what? You must join?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so I joined the Plunkett mums and never looked back really. Just started to make friends.
Cool. It's sometimes hard to make friends in a new place, eh?
Yes, a new country too.
Yeah.
We had friends in Auckland and we had Bob and Olga down here, so we decided we'd either got to stay in Wellington or go to Auckland. So.
Yeah, okay. Olga is a Russian name, isn't it? Is that right?
Olga, yes.
What?
Well, their mother was Latvian.
Okay.
George's mother.
Okay, cool.
He was supposed to be called Ulrich,
Oh, really?
but he was glad they didn't call him.
Ulrich's alright, I reckon. What about your ancestry? Whereabouts are you?
Well, my father's people were Irish,
Okay.
and my grandfather had a farm in Ireland, but it was sort of taken over by he lost it, so he came to England.
Okay. And on your mother's side, were they English always?
Yes, and I don't know much about my grandfather, but I do know that he was a vintner, and they had a wine business.
Okay. On your mum's side, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
her father.
Okay.
My grandmother married him, she was 24 and he was 48. Oh, no, he was 48 when he died, so, but he must have been in his 40s.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
And
so
she was married for 7 years. And her family, the Paxtons.
who's
and-
that? Is that the architect or something?
No, Paxton, Joseph Paxton, built the Crystal Palace.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He was a sir, right? Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and he was my great-grandfather's cousin, I think it was.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
But my grandmother's father, he had a leather business. They had various factories all over the place, tanneries and things.
Okay. So he was quite well off.
wealthy.
And she married when she was 24, is that right? Is that the one? Okay.
She was the youngest daughter and was frowned upon because in those days, this was in 1884 or something like that, the youngest daughter stayed at home and looked after the elderly parents.
Okay.
But she wasn't going to do that.
So she ran away and got married.
Well, she got married, but they disapproved it because he was a widower with a child of his own.
Oh, really?
But she said he was a lovely man. And
Cool.
so she was left with these children and a stepson, and she had no idea about business.
Yeah.
And, and the family sort of discarded her almost. Yeah. So she had a very tough time.
Okay. And one of her children was your mum?
The youngest one, yeah.
Was your mum's upbringing alright?
Hmm?
Was your mum's upbringing okay?
Oh yes. Well, my grandmother went to live with her parents
Okay.
in the end, and so my mother and her brothers that grew up with them really.
Okay, cool. What about Arthur? What's his ancestry?
Oh, and his grandfather, James Munsey, he was a butler, and in a big, these big houses, and his wife was the housekeeper.
Okay. So English.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the Munseys were Irish too.
Way back.
Mm.
Okay.
But he was quite wealthy in the end. Yes. He bought a lot of houses.
The grandfather, you mean?
Yes.
The grandfather, okay. And what about his mum, on his mum's side?
What? Ethel Annie, her name was, but he always called her Liza.
Why is that?
I don't know. And her father was a builder,
Okay.
and the two families decided that she and Sonny, his name was Oscar, but they always called him Sonny, that was to be a good match, and she reckoned she was never in love with him.
What, to the end?
Mm.
Oh, okay. So that's Arthur, that's your parents-in-law? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. And she always said that to the end? That's not very nice, is it?
But she only had the one son,
Okay.
and she doted on him, But she was wonderful to me because she was pleased that he got married, and she was a great friend.
Cool.
But I could never measure up to her housekeeping.
Was it quite a cultural thing, strict back then?
Mm.
With the manners and stuff?
Yes, yes.
Do you want to use the bathroom?
Hmm?
Do you want to use the bathroom or do you want to...
No.
Cool. What about, do you have any stories, like we were talking about the other day, from like Pakistan or anything interesting like that? Or Papua New Guinea maybe, when you were in there when Jane was born?
Yes. Well, when your dad, when your mum said that he had a job either as in the agricultural section or they go to New Guinea, I thought, New Guinea is the last place on earth. And she said, we're going to New Guinea. And when I looked it up and I saw there were 81 species of snakes there, and I just can't bear snakes. I thought, I'm never going to go there.
Yeah.
But then Audrey, your grandmother, they both went and they came back and told us about it. And she said, oh, we can tell you all about it, but you should go. So of course George and Jim were dead keen to go.
Yeah.
And in the end I said, yes, all right, so we went.
When did you go?
We went for Christmas, and
Was
I
that
think 82, I think
82?
it was.
Okay. Oh, they were there 82 to 84, right?
Mm.
So halfway through or a bit before halfway through kind of thing.
And that was a great experience. and I didn't see one snake. They were living in a jungle village, you know. And Joe was, what was he, about 2 or 3 or something? 4, I think.
Yeah, he would have been, I think he would have been 2.5, maybe, around that time. And Jane, were you there when Jane was born?
Yes, she was about 18, was. She was just over a year.
Okay.
It must have been 83.
83, okay, cool. And what was it like? Were you staying in a tiny little hut, or?
Oh, it was quite a nice house, really. But there were only, 5 Europeans in the village. And
Okay, who were the other ones?
there was an American missionary and his wife and children. And then there was a New Zealand nurse.
Okay. And then mum and dad.
Mm.
And did
And
they?
it was so hot that your dad always had to have a shower, of course. So we used to have, then they used to have gas during the day for heating and electricity through a generator at night.
Oh, yeah. And the shower, how did that work? Was it plumbing and stuff, or?
Yes, those ones.
Okay, cool.
And they had a big fridge under the house.
Oh yeah, out stored
And all
probably.
everything had to be flown into them.
Yeah, so it'd be important to have refrigeration, eh?